Unfortunately, it appears like the New York Jets will be without Chuck Clark in 2023, and today we'll talk about the impact that has on this team. What's going on, guys? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Please make sure to follow along on socials at Matt O'Leary NY, and also don't forget about the Talkin' Jets panel every Tuesday night. We were actually live last night when the news broke about Chuck Clark's injury, and we were able to react to it.
We have some breaking, not so good Jets news. I don't know if you guys saw.
I did not saw. What happened?
Zach Rosenblatt of The Athletic is reporting that it is believed that Chuck Clark suffered a serious knee injury, and that helps explain why the Jets signed Adrian Amos. They weren't in on Amos until recently. He visited the Ravens on Monday, his second visit, but the opportunity to now start for the Jets sold him.
Oh, damn, that sucks. I guess we'll find out more probably tomorrow if I had to guess, but them signing Amos right now seems to be a pretty clear indication that this is probably a season ender if I had to guess.
Just an absolute bummer. Pretty upsetting. I was excited to see Chuck Clark play for the New York Jets in 2023. They traded a 2024 7th round pick in order to land him this offseason, and it was looked at as, to me, a massive upgrade for this safety room, a room that definitely needed help. The Jets did just that. They brought in Chuck Clark, and I was looking forward to him being on the team. And they signed Adrian Amos earlier in the day, which I was thrilled with and still very excited about. Was hoping that it would be for depth, meaning that Jordan Whitehead would move into either that backup or hybrid safety linebacker role, with Amos more as the free safety, Chuck Clark more as that prototypical strong safety, because that's his strength. And originally before that, the Chuck Clark and Jordan Whitehead duo, kind of similar, as they both are more of that true strong safety than they are someone who could play a free safety. So it was excited for that. And again, still am. We'll get into Adrian a little bit if you missed the video yesterday. But to hear the news of Chuck Clark going down, and more than likely it being an ACL and him being done for the year, man, that's a really big blow for this defense. And I don't know why I got some pushback saying that on Twitter last night. Very strange. I talked about this being a big blow for the Jets defense. It was like, well, it's a safety, man. It's a safety. Well, losing a starter on your defense is a big deal. And number two, losing your best safety is an issue. And that's just not saying fold up shop, put everything away. We tried. We gave it the old college try. We'll do it again in 2024. No, that's not what I'm saying either. But you're allowed to be upset and allowed to go, damn, I was excited about this player. I was looking forward to it. And it's a big loss on this team because, again, he's probably your best safety on the roster. And they were able to pivot, and they came up with another plan, which is fine. But the guy was a tackling machine in Baltimore. He played, and this is just so perfect, he played over 1,200 consecutive snaps, 1,248 to be exact. Guy never misses any time, and then gets hurt. Comes here, more than likely tears his ACL. They're getting a second opinion, but it doesn't look good. And normally you don't go for a second opinion unless you get really crappy news with the first opinion. So that's really a bummer. In coverage, he was pretty solid as well. 69.2 reception percentage, 237 yards allowed, 2 touchdowns, 494 of those snaps came at free safety, 323 in the box. So he did play a little bit more at free safety than he did at strong safety. But for Amos, who comes in and is going to replace him now, he is a very sure tackler, which is a plus. So was Chuck Clark, which is why I was hoping for that duo. More on where Jordan Whitehead ranks in a little bit. Normally very, very good in coverage, right? This guy, the replacement, Adrian Amos, is normally very, very good in coverage. He was really not that great in coverage in 2022. To be fair, the entire Green Bay Packers defense stunk as a whole. They didn't have the pass rush that they did. But when in 2020 and 2021, when the Packers defense was really good and you had guys like Rashawn Gary getting home and the Smith brothers, and the pass rush was at its fullest potential, then you had the success at safety from a guy like Amos. So I would think he's a bounce back candidate on this New York Jets team, but something to keep in note because he did allow 6 touchdowns last year. and did allow just really brutal passer rating against. He was not great in coverage. Again, the whole team kind of stunk defensively last year, so take it with a grain of salt. But man, just Whitehead is going to have to play a little bit more now, and you hope that maybe, like, this is my positive spin zone on it, that Whitehead, part of the reason why he struggled so poorly was because he was paired with LaMarcus Joyner last year. And going from Joyner to Amos is a massive upgrade. Like, just forget for a second that you had Chuck Clark for a brief moment in time and that he could have been a part of this plan. Just the 1-for-1 upgrade of going from Joyner to Amos is really, really good. Whitehead, some of Whitehead's biggest problems, though, not necessarily having to do with who your partner is. He has missed 15% or more of his tackles in 4 of his 5 seasons. He is a missed tackling machine. So again, I was hoping for having a duo who was both, I believe both were under 7%. So a massive difference there, a really big difference. But for Amos, 445 snaps came at free safety, 370 down in the box. He's someone who can move around all over a defense. He could play and he can line up in slot. He can line up outside if he really had to. Not that you would really do that, but he's a good athlete. And yes, he's now 30 and getting up there a little bit, but I still think he is more than enough to get by with, but that doesn't change that losing Chuck Clark stings. It does. I was excited to see him as a member of the New York Jets in 2023. I thought he was one of the more underrated additions of the offseason. I thought he was going to be a stud for this defense, but now it's next man up, right? You gotta pivot, and thankfully Joe Douglas did pivot quickly and brought in Amos, who should be able to come in and start for this team. So sound off below. What is your take on all this? I'm Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you next time.